Alright, Kimbo White here. We're going to talk about last night's fights, Strikeforce Heavyweight Grand Prix. My first two predictions were wrong. I thought, Arlovsky was an iffy one. It was questionable what mind state he was going to be in and all that coming in. And I had faith in him, and, well, we saw what happened. He got knocked out again. To be real honest with you, Karatanov was closing the distance on him real nicely, and he was picking his times. He was eating some serious jabs from Arlovsky, but it wasn't, enough to. I could tell a couple of them probably hurt, but they weren't, they weren't enough to put him down. They were strong, stiff jabs. He popped him with probably 10 of them, and was actually landing some good leg kicks and fighting a smart fight. Some people would say, and some people would say fighting a completely wrong fight, because some people would say he should have just came out and let his hands fly, being that he had an inch or so reach advantage, 2 inches on the height, and the faster hands of the two. But when he hit his back, when he landed on his back, I think he was already out. They clinched up there for a minute, and he's hitting Karatanov with these uppercuts that have absolutely no effect, because one, they had no power behind them, and two, he needed to be a step or two back to get the power behind him that he needed. Karatanov closed the distance in real nice, and I pretty well knew when he landed that big right uppercut and then a straight punch or two that I still thought, well, Arlovsky took a lot from Bigfoot Silva and didn't get knocked out. He took a hell of a beating before he lost that fight, and I thought, well, maybe I still had faith in him, and 2 seconds later he's on his back on the mat, and if you go back and you watch, I swear he was out when he was on his back, because he had these big, huge, glassy eyes, and he had his knees and his hands in the air. But Karatanov he threw 4 punches, he landed 3 of them square, and Arlovsky never one time tried to block any one of them. He stood there and just waited to get hit on the jaw, like in fear or I don't really know what word to say, mind state that he was in, but I don't think it was an awake one. I think that he was out on his back with his hands and knees in the air doing the funky chicken. He was doing the chicken with his head cut off deal, like you always see in boxing and MMA when a guy gets knocked out and still grabs onto the ref or another fighter or something like that. I didn't notice if he has going into convulsions or having any seizures or anything of that nature, but I know he laid over there for at least 5 minutes and didn't give an interview after the fight, so that I saw. I know he was pretty messed up, so I don't see Andre Arlovsky getting back in the cage, and if last night was last night for him and Fedor, that'd be quite a sad night for MMA fans, but it's just like any other night. It's like when Brock beat Randy and this and that. It's the passing of the torch, man, so it's not something that we want to see, but something that we do see and is good for the sport. The old guys have to get old, the new guys have to do their thing. So, anyways, out of the reserve fights, Del Rosario looking tough as always against LeVar Johnson, and ends up finishing Johnson with an armbar. I believe it was still first round. I believe it was. I'm drawing a blank. I was trying to remember. I'm pretty sure it was still the first round. He clinched Johnson up quite a bit, held him against the cage, held him close. Both guys, throwing a few big bombs, and end up Johnson ended up mounted. Rosario took him down, mounted him, and as he was trying to block punches, he got armbarred. I'm pretty sure it was towards the end of the first round. Chad Griggs, the man that handed Bobby Lashley's first loss, had a good fight last night, and come out with a knockout of Valente, Dan Valente or something. And to be real honest with you, this was a pretty crazy looking fight because it was a straight brawler against a guy that was trying to be technical. You got this guy coming in just throwing big bombs, haymakers, grabbing the back of his head, trying to throw dirty busts and this and that, and at the same time you got this other cat trying to grab him in a Muay Thai clinch and throw leg kicks, and use his footwork and movement and technical skills to overcome the brawling style of Chad Griggs, and just ended up getting laid out, man. Caught one with all Griggs' weight and power behind it, right to the back of the jaw. It's pretty sick knockout. And overall we had some good reserve bouts. To be real honest with you, on the other reserve bout, I'm drawing a complete blank. I'm not going to sit here and look it up to talk about it. My main focus on this video is Fedor Emelianenko losing to Antonio Bigfoot Silva. The big news of the night, of course, was that Fedor said maybe he should retire after this fight. Well, Finkelstein and Coker both say that Fedor was probably just upset. Finkelstein says that he knows Fedor well and he thinks he was just upset. And Coker says that now Fedor is out indefinitely with a medical suspension, but could have a fractured orbital even. But if he's able to return to the ring before the end of the year, he could be first in line of the alternates. And I don't think this is going to go over well with Del Rosario and Griggs. And Valentino Ring. That was the other prelim fight. Got Ray Seppo down. Ray Seppo has no clue how to defend against submission holds. And I think Overeem's a black belt in judo or jiu-jitsu one, so throws him down, puts a neck crank on him at the end of the fight. It was real fast. That's why I couldn't remember it. Emelianenko. If Coker makes him the first in line of the alternates, it's not going to go over well with the guys in the reserve bouts, but, what can they really say? Griggs and Del Rosario, he's already publicly stated they're getting bumped up to the big shows, better money, so they're not going to complain. Valentino Ring could give a shit less. He just came to fight, I don't think the dude really cares. Emelianenko, if can be cleared medically, could be the first alternate, which is no guarantee that they will use an alternate. But the deal is Fedor signed a multi-fight deal with Strikeforce this time, and he stated before the tournament started that he would be able to fulfill this contract. But I did read, and I mentioned in my video before, that he signed the contract with a exit clause if he was to get in a losing streak. So what was classified as a losing streak, I don't know. Nobody's commented back to me on that. I don't think anybody really knows. If you do know more about that, please enlighten me. And, I don't even know how many fights are on that contract. And, Coker says, he signed a multi-fight deal, so he's got many bouts ahead of him. That wasn't what Fedor said in the ring last night, so, he said maybe it's time to quit. Maybe it's God's will. So, that's interesting end of it. But to get down to it, my two predictions for the first quarterfinals were wrong, both of them. I had faith in Arlovsky and he got beat. Had faith in Fedor and he got beat. So, anybody who didn't watch the Fedor fight, he won the first round, a close first round. It was 10-9s all the way across. One judge gave it to Bigfoot. The second round, all three gave it to Bigfoot, one of them with a 10-8. And it was just a brutal ground and pounding that didn't quit for 5 minutes. He took him down the first second of the round and kept him. Fedor rolled at least 3 or 4 times. He rolled and was unable to go out the back door and was going to just get TKO'd. So instead, rolled back, and then rolled back, and then rolled back, and then rolled back, and then rolled back, and rolled back, and then rolled back, like 4 times. And finally, on the last time he tried to do it, he could only get about halfway. He had him on his side, and just mangled Fedor's left eye. It was just brutal. So they go to come out for the third round. Doctor stops the fight. The doctor stopped the fight as soon as they went back to their corners, but neither fighter knew it until they were getting ready to come out, and then they found out. Fedor was extremely upset. You could tell it, of course, but it is what it is, and we're going to see about my predictions on this next quarterfinal. It doesn't happen until April 9th. Which is my birthday, so I'm hoping that it's going to be close somewhere to where I live so I can go to it. But, I've picked Overeem and Barnett and that, and I hope that they can do me proud because, I really didn't expect for both these guys to lose last night. But, it wasn't something that was I felt was set in stone. Either guy was going to win. So, anyway, everybody get back at me. Let me know what they think.